Yes, I'm calling about Laura's surgery. It was scheduled for Tuesday.
Mr. Richard, there's been a complication. Mrs. Richard has been deceased for 3 days.
Trey Richard had spent 12 years chasing dangerous truths as an investigative journalist, but nothing ever shook him the way the call from the hospital did. He phoned to check on his wife's routine surgery only to hear a nurse whisper that a woman with the same name and birth date as his wife was lying dead in the morgue. Trey insisted it was impossible because he had dropped Marion off that morning. The nurse explained that Dr. Velasquez had identified a body as his wife 3 days earlier, and something inside Trey snapped with fear. His instincts screamed that something was horribly wrong. As he drove toward the hospital, he received a call from the administrator claiming it was a record error. The lies made his skin crawl, and then a threatening text warned him not to come. He knew his real wife was dead and someone had used a fake version of her to fool him. A mysterious nurse named Lou contacted him and asked to meet privately. In a diner, she revealed that she had watched Dr. Velasquez and other staff murder Marion for her organs. She explained that wealthy patients paid millions for illegal transplants handled by corrupt hospital officials. Marion had been selected months earlier because of her rare blood type. Lou told him that a woman had been surgically altered to impersonate Marion so Trey would never notice the switch. When Lou tried reporting the crime, she was fired and almost killed. She gave Trey a thumb drive full of evidence, including the video of his wife being harvested alive. Trey cried, but rage rose stronger than grief. He went to the morgue and bribed an attendant to see the body. When he saw the scar and birthmark, he knew it was Marion. Seeing her cold face ignited a part of him that no longer cared about legality. He vowed revenge and began building a plan methodically. He studied every conspirator's habits, weaknesses, and secrets. Dr. Velasquez lived luxuriously and assumed he was untouchable. Administrator Herbert Buck laundered money through offshore accounts. Officer Briggs was corrupt and sloppy. 2 surgeons, Rogers and Volf, had debts and vices that Trey could exploit. The therapist who screened victims also played a role. Trey pretended to be a confused husband searching for answers and recorded every conversation. The hospital tried feeding him lies about addiction, but he collected proof of their manipulation. He hacked emails, traced payments, and learned that more than 40 victims had been murdered. Rather than go to authorities, he planted fake leads to turn the conspirators against one another. He made Briggs think Rogers was talking to the FBI. He made Volf think his gambling contacts believed he was an informant. He convinced Buck his accounts were being investigated. Chaos spread rapidly among them. While they scrambled, Trey arranged the final confrontation. He sent Velasquez a message playing the scared husband and then met him in person. In the surgeon's mansion, he dropped the act and exposed every detail of the conspiracy. He pointed Marion's revolver at him and forced him to choose between confession or the destruction of everyone he loved. Velasquez broke and confessed to the FBI the next morning. His confession triggered nationwide headlines. Trey then delivered evidence against Briggs, leading to the officer's arrest for corruption. Rogers and Volf fell next, dragged into trials and public shame. Buck fled and was arrested, his reputation ruined. The therapist lost her license and faced charges. Houston Presbyterian Hospital collapsed under investigations and lawsuits. Families of victims finally learned their loved ones had been murdered. Only one person remained, Dee Morrow, the impersonator who had lived in Trey's home and poisoned Marion. Trey tracked her internationally using her criminal habits and the patterns he uncovered. He lured her back to Houston using a fake identity and job offer. At the hotel meeting, Dee realized too late that the man waiting was Marion's husband. Trey offered her only 2 options: turn herself in and testify, or face life in prison with no deals. Terrified, she chose cooperation and was arrested minutes later. Over the next 2 years, Trey attended every trial and watched every conspirator lose freedom, status, and dignity. Velasquez received life without parole. Buck died in prison. Briggs was killed by inmates. Rogers, Volf, and the therapist all received long sentences. The hospital paid hundreds of millions in settlements. Trey used his settlement to create a foundation in Marion's name to fight medical corruption. He left his job and dedicated himself to exposing institutions that harmed innocent people. Although he never remarried, he built a new purpose out of grief. He visited Marion's grave often and told her the truth about each victory. On the 7th anniversary of her death, he stood before her stone and promised he had avenged her. He knew nothing could bring her back, but he had destroyed every person responsible. Trey walked away knowing Marion's killers would never escape justice. He became the force they underestimated, the man who turned their empire into ashes. And though he carried heartbreak forever, he honored her by ensuring that no one else would die the way she did.